Hello and welcome to Farscape.
A fun-filled Farscape fancast by a fervent fan.
And a fresh-faced first-timer.
I'm Kaki.
I'm Kay, and this is the story So Farscape.
The story So Farscape. See, the 40 wow, okay. 15 episodes in, and I'm finally getting the hang of it. As you can clearly tell, the story So Farscape sees our hunky science jock, John Crichton, flung across the universe through a wormhole onto a ship.
A living ship.
Into some distant part of the universe with some strange alien creatures, such as...
This episode is again a lot about Rygel.
Yeah, the Hynerian Royal, the diminutive Muppets.
Yes. Dargo has minor parts in this one. He's like mostly doing a little bit of crawling through the ductwork and brandishing his keyblade around and
yeah. Offering just a little bit of color to an otherwise very grey and black episode.
And of course our beautiful, this time bed gown Zahn.
Bed gown?
I mean, she was wearing something that would have best be described as a nightie. I mean, fairly long one as usual, but it seemed to be a little bit less elaborate than the outfit that she usually wears.
And then we have Aaron, the human-looking peacekeeper.
Yes,
who's actually a Sebastian.
Yes, there's more of that this episode.
Yeah.
And yes, of course, our human Crichton.
And Pilot and Moya,
Moya,
the living ship who is pregnant. Gosh, this show is rapidly building up its cast of characters.
Yes,
a cast which is expanding. This is a very seminal episode that we've been looking forward to for a while.
Yes, I had my suspicions about that because I was a little bit.
Do tell.
I was a little bit spoilerified. Someone posted a lovely photograph of some embroidery with the cast of characters, which included another grey-skinned type character. And I've been having my suspicions on what I mean. It's actually addressed towards the end of the episode, but whether or not we are going to see like an expansion of the crew here.
Oh, that's right, because this sees the introduction of the legendary Gigi Edgley as Chiana.
What's she legendary for?
Chiana. I mean, this was early on in her career.
So who's this episode directed by?
Whoa, that's an unusual question.
Yeah.
This episode was directed by Tony Tilse.
Have we seen him before?
Yes, he's done
was that the one with the other the tentacles like type people? What they were called? The other two?
Yeah, you were thinking of Back and Back to the Future.
Right.
No, that wasn't a Tony Tilse. Right. I understand why you would think that though. Like there's a lot of overlap. No, he did. See, I only know our titles. Hey, Gas Hole. That was PK Tech Girl,
yes.
And Till the Blood Runs Clear.
Right. Okay.
With the Volcarians. Those were Tony Til's jams.
Because I noticed that like a lot of I suppose acting direction that some of the characters had would have like hinted in that same direction.
Oh, I am very curious to hear about that because yes, we are discussing episode 115, A Durka Returns, written by Grant McAloon, which is I think his first credit. We'll have a few more.
And where a collision with a Nebari ship brings a Nebari criminal named Chiana to Moya. Chiana to Moya, sorry, along with a mentally cleansed
Grant
Captain
McAloon
Durka.
and Chiana to Moya.
Yes. Much to the surprise of Rygel. Well, I wouldn't really call it surprise. It's more like dismay.
And what a shock it must have been. And like the other summary that I've got is we discussed Durka returns. Shockingly or not, Durka does indeed return and brings some uninvited guests. First aired Friday the 13th. Oh, that's ominous. August 1999.
And stepping into our So Far Back machine.
Good branding there. Love
Back in the same era of time is another, I say, great movie. Released roughly around the same time. At least it was in 1999.
Yeah.
The Iron Giant. With
oh, wow.
One of the lead roles going to Vin Diesel.
Vin Diesel?
Who was like known for like playing parts in movies where in voiceovers, at least in movies, where he doesn't have a lot to say.
Yeah, I'm trying to think now. Like that was 1999. So was Saving Private Ryan. He'd already done Saving Private Ryan, where he was one of the rescuers.
Yeah.
I don't know if he'd done Boiler Room yet at that point. Where
I was more thinking the parallels with Guardians of the Galaxy. You know, where he also doesn't exactly have great many lines.
Okay, so that's the connection. Yes, okay. So we go from Farscape to Guardians of the Galaxy to Groot, and from there to the Iron Giant himself, and there. Okay, well, I appreciate Iron Giant a lot. I mean, we do. It is space opera technically. Like, it is
is
the
a bit.
Earthbound part, but it's about space aliens.
Right, the weird alien robot who seems to have had a bit of a bump on the head and who was then hidden by a local boy in... Actually, that's an interesting part, because in the movie it is in New England, whereas in the original story it is actually takes place in the UK. So there's a little bit of that going on. And
I suppose the original doesn't have the excellent beat poet Dean.
I guess
as
not.
the beating heart.
I have no
of
idea
this.
how that. Well, I never actually read the book, but that, like, the original story was took place in the UK, not in the US.
Do you know, there's a bit of John Crichton in Hogarth Hughes, the kid.
I guess there is. Yeah, maybe
You know,
maybe as a young Crichton gets. He's too old for that. But yeah,
the timelines don't quite match up.
No, but it would be fun anyway. So yes, maybe it's
But
Dad.
he's got the same kind of
spunky little attitude.
and a can-do attitude towards science, and a great deal of empathy and seeing the best in people and bringing them together. You know, stuff that Crichton does when he's able to.
Well, yes, if he gets the opportunity.
Oh, I do so love the Iron Giant.
It's a lovely movie. It's been like 21 years now. Like, it's the same time as Farscape. Farscape, not Farscape.
Yeah,
yes.
and also a monochromatic character.
Oh, yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, he does when he goes into full battle mode. He does become a bit of a disco giant, but...
Yeah, that's true. Which I thought was horribly exploited in Ready Player One, the film, which...
It's such an antithesis to what the character stands for.
Yes,
I suppose
that really upset me.
Yeah.
Like, the whole thing about the Iron Giant is he is a gun with a soul. He's a gun who doesn't want to be a gun. He wants to be a shield. Ultimately. And his absolute nightmare, which happens toward the end of the film, is to be taken over and be made and be used as a weapon, which is exactly what someone does
in Ready Player One. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say to its credit, but in its defense, it's a bit like what's that Nintendo fighting game again, where all the characters from the different.
It's the Punch.
Yeah, it's like,
is it something Brothers?
Something Punch Up.
Smash Brothers? Smash Mouth?
Yeah, I think it's Smash Brothers. Yes, and
Super
it's just
Smash Mouth.
they use all the characters, even the ones who would normally not be fighting, and they're all fighting to each other because they're using the different characters. And you could, like, if you want to be charitable, you can say that that's what they did to the Iron Giant in Ready Player One, because he's just a skin for some player to wear.
Yeah. it's an all-star game,
right? Yeah, exactly.
Just like, Super Smash Mouth All-Star.
Super Smash Mouth. That's what we're going to call it.
Hey
from now on. Yeah.
Prepare to starburst.
So, yeah, the movie opens with a shot of Rygel's regalia, I would call it.
Yeah.
Or at least his like, knickknacks.
The ship is shaking. We see once again that wonderful screensaver out the front view portal.
Because apparently Moya is going through a bit of a difficult starburst.
What's with the rough ride?
God, I'm gonna be sick.
Moya, need a tune-up or something?
To everyone's chagrin, we see, honestly, a fantastic, Steadicam, ultra-wide angle shot of Moya's hallways where Crichton's running through. This looked fantastic.
I noticed that there was a lot of those Dutch angle shots with like swimmy cam moving in and out, following people through corridors, zooming around. It was a very interesting visual style that they took for this episode.
The Steadicam is a part of the visual language of Farscape. It always has been. It's very rare to actually have a static camera, but with the extremely wide-angle lenses being used this time, it's a lot more noticeable. Everyone
but also the whole swimmy movement type things. We see those quite a lot, not just during the starburst scene, but later on in the episode as well.
Yeah. I mean, Tony Tilse or the cinematographer, who I'm not exactly sure if that's changed in this episode, has discovered some cool new ways to really make use of Moya's fantastic interiors, all that ribbing, all those textures, fantastic light. It's a lot cooler than it has been in the past. In the past, it was very warm and earth tone and welcoming. And
now it's just a little bit more dark. Yeah,
which works for Zan. She comes out a lot more blue now.
Yeah. And I guess, a lot of Moya's resources are being diverted towards the kid that she's pregnant with.
Moya's pregnancy has drastically weakened her ability to starburst. Some minor turbulence is an unfortunate byproduct.
If this is minor, I don't want to see major.
Much to pilot's whinging really a little bit about how hard it is to control everything, and that things are the child has much priority. Yeah,
I sort of read it as him defending Moya. He was being quite defensive when Zahn was complaining that Moya's senses are dimmed. And he says, no, I'm compensating for that. I'm compensating for that too.
There is no reason for concern.
Everything's going to be fine.
Clearly he wasn't, because the moment they come out of Starburst, they have this, again, a beautiful orange sun view with a bit of a ship floating in front of it, which Crichton warns Pilot about, and he goes, I see it!
I see it!
Whoa!
And then they bump into it anyway.
That looked so cool. It's got these god rays as if it's in a nebula. You've got two stars. It's casting a shadow, and Moya collides with it. Everyone is shaking around, which I thought was a little bit weird because the ship is tiny.
There was no damage. Well, it was tiny-ish, but apparently no damage to Moya. But the ship itself is apparently damaged enough for Pilot to activate the docking web and haul it in.
Yeah, without consulting anyone.
Nobody objects either.
Well, Zahn says, is that wise? And she asked Crichton that, and Crichton says, Pilot.
I reckon with guessing too sweet, Pilot.
Moya and I should have avoided that collision entirely.
Yeah, but isn't there some way that we can...
No.
Which is immediately belied by the fact that they have a big weapon on board that ship.
Yeah.
Which they do turn off, in all honesty.
Very thoughtfully.
Yeah, it's got this long white-haired dude with an eye patch comes walking out.
Yeah, he walks out with a slow motion shot following his footsteps like a Western gunslinger, very ominous.
Yes,
which I really liked, really setting the tone and letting you feel the menace, the danger that we're all in. Our heroes are gathered at the doors of the docking bay, weapons in hand, to greet the stranger.
Erin with her peacekeeper rifle and Dargo with his keyblade.
Yeah. Standing in a line to address him, and this long-haired, eye-patched hippie,
very slowly, calmly speaking, and they are very reasonable. And
that is dead-on impression.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Assuring them of their peaceful intentions. I am unarmed, dressed in black and grey. God, these costumes. I know that I've given. Terry Ryan a lot of credit for the people of Aquara, but man, the Nebari outfits were fantastic as well. They've got all these, it's black and grey,
yeah,
but there's all these diagonal lines. There's these lovely sort of braided textures to the grey areas.
Yeah, I suppose so. It's all very roby though, but yeah.
Yeah, but I like that. Like it accentuates certain. I'm trying to think what I'm comparing it to. I want to say like something. I'm sure I've seen it in India. I'm sure I've seen like modern Indian styles and older classical Indian styles.
No, I see what you mean. Yeah.
These sort of diamond shapes.
Yeah.
Tight around the middle. You've got the
right, but the big epaulets. No,
right.
Epaulette, not epaulets. Whatchamacallit, the breast flaps. Lapels.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. These lovely triangles to the body. It really appeals to me.
Yeah. Rygel, apparently having recovered from his starburst sickness, also floats in, is immediately triggered into a flashback of his time aboard the Zelbinian.
The Zelbinian.
Zelbinian, that's the one.
Yeah, which we remember from Tony Tilse's previous episode, PK Tech Girl.
We noticed that last time that directors seem to have a habit of bringing back their own little additions to the series.
Yeah,
and I guess we're seeing that again in this episode. Yes, his erstwhile torturer, who is apparently now, much to his surprise, still alive.
You can't be alive.
Yeah, whom he last saw on the Zelbinian when Zahn recommended that he should find his corpse.
Yes.
I saw you dead. I saw your stinking corpse.
And then spit on it, which he then gets to do to Durka in the flesh once again.
Yes, he must say, he just produced quite a lot of saliva.
Yeah, he's been working on that for a while.
For 100 cycles, I suppose.
So far, he's mostly spat. Oh, I'm thinking now. Has he ever spat on a non-human-looking individual or a non-Sebastian-looking individual? Because like Crichton was the first.
Yeah.
He also spat on Jelena. She was the PK Tech girl. Durka dead.
Don't
Durka
think
alive.
so. Yeah.
Has anybody else been the beneficiary of
Not
Rygel's spit?
not that I can remember. But Durka all takes it in stride. He seems a little bit contrite almost, just like kind of wipes it off. And
Yeah, because even though, in particular, Aaron ridicules Rygel, no, it can't be Durka.
yeah, he would be dead. Like you saw him on the ship, and even if he hadn't been there, then he would have been dead of old age 50 cycles ago.
Suggesting that it's not weird for a Sebastian to make it to at
Old
least
age.
150.
Yeah.
Either they live longer or cycles are shorter than human years, who's
Yes.
to say? But no, he assures them that I am Durka.
I am Durka.
Yeah, well, he seems to be pretty chill for a Sebastian commander who is
Creepily
like known
chill.
for, mass murder, torture, genocide,
Vicious murdering bastard.
that kind of thing.
Yeah, all the cool sort of
yeah.
peacekeeper
And
business.
Aaron does have a little bit of a hero's
She's got a little hero crush.
Yeah,
Like,
she
she stands
does.
a little straighter.
Like,
She-
I learned about you in history class. All your great deeds. Oh no, that's later in the episode. But
It does come later. I mean,
Yeah.
for now, Crichton is struggle snuggling Rygel to keep him from going off the handle once again.
So I'm like actually wondering at this point if they had a new puppet for Rygel, which they kind of showed off here, because there's like two shots in this episode. One of them is where Crichton lifts Rygel off of Durka right in this scene, and just
Right,
like
yeah.
pulls him off, and you can actually see him floating around and showing. And when he's struggling with Rygel here, he's basically got his arm around his throat.
Yep.
And later on, there's a scene where Dargo is carrying Rygel through the corridors. And I'm just
Right.
wondering if they've basically now got a hand puppet version of Rygel where they can just like do this kind of thing with, and they can just like
That's a good
have the actor themselves do a little mouth movement enough to make it look like he's talking without going too heavy on the.
That's very well possible. Like, I know that in the previous episode we discussed Jeremiah Crichton, one of the locals on the planet, was actually played by his puppeteer.
Oh, right. Yes, you mentioned, yes.
Johnny Eccleston, so that he could be carrying Rygel and still puppeting him. And like, I only know this from like set photos. I think he was kept out of frame
Right.
at any
he was
time.
he was the pasty white one, wasn't it?
Yeah. The tall pasty white one, which is like, it does not pay to be tall when
Probably
you're a
not.
puppeteer.
No.
I mean, originally, when Farscape was being conceived, it was still called Space Chase at the time. One of the ideas was to build all the sets raised off the floor. Everything would be on trellises or gantries, however you say it, so that the puppeteers would have a space to operate underneath.
Right.
That wound up not happening, and so the puppeteers just had to get used to belly flopping behind whatever.
I mean, that's what they do anyway. I mean,
Yeah.
The one big exception I would know about that is on in Labyrinth, the Goblin King's throne room, which if you see it without the puppet, it's like a Swiss cheese.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
just like holes all over the place because
That
it's
whole
like
set was designed
it was like
around
around the puppets because like it's where
and their
they-
puppeteers.
and of course, yeah.
Every character that appears has to have like an oblong about 6 feet long somewhere
Room for
trailing
it for
behind
the
it.
puppeteers to be able to do their thing.
So it's very well done. You see Rygel struggling in Crichton's arms. So I don't know. Maybe the puppet is light enough that it can be moved around. But you'd think like there are complicated mechanisms inside.
Or maybe someone's just like standing there underneath doing the awkward crouch thing, or maybe they put I don't even know what Crichton's actor is called, but
Ben Browder.
Ben Browder, yes, now that you
Isn't he
mention it.
lovely?
He might just be standing on a beer crate or something, so that the other guys have it easier to get under Rygel.
Oh yeah, good point. Rygel was so well performed this.
He was.
This episode.
He is really even more than he always was. He's coming to life in this episode as where you are forgetting that he's a puppet.
The voice performance by John Hardy is really gelling.
Yeah.
The puppet also looks a little bit. He's got a slightly different look
He
as
probably
well.
got another upgrade. Yeah.
He's got some smoother eyebrows.
Yeah.
So apparently the skin for Rygel is a foam latex, and they make a lot of these, and they're constantly getting touched up. There's been hundreds. But even when they're not like replacing them, they just get they just get washed. And I saw some behind the scenes footage, and it is super gross. They take this floppy skin, and it doesn't have eyes, of course.
Oh, of course not.
And they take it out of and they just run it through like a clothes wringer.
Oh, wow.
Just literally with one of those handles, just squashing his face. Well, yeah, I mean, it's.
I guess it collects a lot of sweat from puppeteers inside and grime from other actors. But yes, another person shows up here who is another blue-skinned alien. This one with a neckbeard instead of a chin line.
I am a gentleman with an I'm an aficionado of facial hair. Those are mutton chops. That's not a neckbeard.
They go down to his chin.
Yes, that is right, but it doesn't connect, so it's not a chin strap. If it was a neckbeard, it would go down to his Adam's apple, which it doesn't.
No, but
these
still.
they're mutton chops, which, yes, I know that they can...
Extended mutton chops.
They're extended mutton chops, but they don't join at the chin, and so they're not a chin strap.
I didn't say it was a chin strap. I just said he had a beard for as a replacement for a chin line.
I absolutely... Well, okay, some of us just like to accentuate our features.
Yes.
I think
I thought it was I thought it was like a tattoo or makeup at first, but no, it turns out to be short curly hairs. Maybe that's why they keep...
Not everyone keeps their short and curly hairs in the same place.
Blue Mivonks. Maybe he's a Blue Mivonk. Yes, I think we shall call him the Blue Mivonk.
Oh, that's so mean. This actor is Tyriel Mora. I think I'm saying that correctly. I think it's a really cool name.
He is another man who speaks very slowly and calmly and tries to sound very reasonable.
I am Salis. My people are the Nebari.
Yes, there's a distinct difference between his intonation and Durka's, though, because Durka's is very clipped and incomplete, whereas Salis speaks very reassuringly and very certainly
I wouldn't call it reassuringly.
Well,
I mean, he tries to sound reassuringly.
Yes,
but
that's exactly it. He's like a teacher at every point. He's very conclusive, I think, is what I'm trying to say.
In a annoying sort of way, because I know better. You don't know any better, but I'm just going to be reasonable and talk to you slowly like this, and you'll be fine with it. As long as you do as I say.
Because there it goes. Those standards do move up, don't they?
Yeah, they do quite a lot. And of course, they announce that they have a prisoner on board who is then apparently must be kept on board Moya, because even though they are apparently a prison ship and they have the prisoner on board, prisoner has to be kept in a secure cell, and of course Moya having been used as a prison ship is quite well suited to this fact.
Yeah, we actually get to see the hallway with the cells that we haven't really seen before, and we see that they face each other, and that there's quite a few of them. I think we see at least 6 doors, if you count them correctly. Now, I don't know whether they're all they're all still, their quarters are still cells, but I'd hope that they're not sleeping in actual cells, that they have
I mean, even this cell seemed to be very well appointed, and
yeah, that's true.
So I think so. Of course, so the prisoner turns out to be another blue-grey skinned girl with white spiky hair and some sort of prison collar on.
Yeah,
she's cuffed up, and Crichton asks what her crime is after they put her in the cell, and he goes "Oh, nothing you want to
concern yourself about."
And she immediately starts doing the whole vulnerable femme fatale thing, trying to play onto to anybody's weaknesses or interests or whatever it is. She starts pleading again in a slightly.
They won't tell you what I've done because they're embarrassed. You wouldn't consider it a crime.
Slightly slow, reasonable, not as much as.
It's so ethereal.
It reminded me quite a lot of the way the not quite Luxon woman spoke. Although she was really
half the shuttle's power conduits had ruptured.
Yes, that's right.
Going on about it.
Oh, she was great.
So it reminded me. That's why I was asking about the director, if there was any direction.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
There is a bit of an overlap between Matala and early Chiana.
Right.
She also has unusual body language, these head tilts and twitches to her body. Although I believe that a lot of that was Gigi Edgley at the time was kind of struggling with the she's got these black eyes, which are contact lenses, which gave her intense tunnel vision. So she had to do all these weird sort of head tilts in order to be able to actually see.
Right. Yeah. Because
people.
Of course the pupil of those contact lenses is going to be relatively small, so you don't get any irises showing. Yeah. So that makes sense, yeah.
Now, I thought it was peculiar how cooperative Dargo was throughout this, but we then see him have a little chat with Rygel at one point, where he warns Rygel to chill out because, okay, whoever this species is, one of their ships, and Salas says, we don't have warships, it was one of our standard host vessels, disabled the Zelbinian, and another one of those ships is coming to pick us up.
We do not want to make them our enemies.
Yes.
We absolutely do not want to give them any reason not to let us pass by because they are, once
apparently
again,
it's their sector, yeah.
Dargo practicing realpolitik, which is very good at.
Yeah. I noticed that Erin stays armed the entire time during this episode.
Yes.
She is like not letting go of her guns. She's keeping them with her, and she's staying well and truly armed. Which
I wonder how much of that is her getting back into peacekeeper mode, and how much of it is there are strangers on my home.
Yeah, I think the second, because she seems to be very distrustful of everybody else, even about Durka.
Yeah,
a little bit. I mean, she goes and talks to him and asks him about what he's been doing and what's been going on. And
see how straight she stands when she's in his presence.
Yeah, she's almost in. She's like almost at attention.
Yeah, right. Same with Crace.
But yeah, so I thought it was interesting that. Who was it who said like that he's done far worse, and then
he says that himself.
Yeah, he said it himself. Yeah, and you can tell that she has a very different opinion of what far worse is than he does. You can just see the kind of like expression on her face, and it's like I wouldn't say that, but yeah.
Oh wow! Well, okay. So I got a different reading out of this. In this scene, like she starts with a little hero crush. She's a little starstruck, but he is very dismissive of the accomplishments for which he is known in our culture.
Yes,
the torture and the cowardly escape, which she doesn't believe. Like she even defends Durka to Rygel.
Yes.
Like you don't know what the situation was when he says. Durka faked his own death and escaped. You weren't there. And Durka says, "Oh yes, I faked my death and I escaped and I let everyone die."
I used an escape pod and
she's outraged. After which he says, "Oh no, I've done far worse than that."
Yes, and she goes like, "Well." To her, that's probably the worst thing that he could have done. Yeah. Whereas he is talking about the fact that he's all those great deeds that he was supposedly had done. He now considers them far worse, and like Erin goes like, well, no, I disagree. It's like that, like running
that's
away
not how
from
they
your
teach
shit.
it in school.
Yeah, exactly. That's her peacekeeper talk showing again, or her peacekeeper side showing again at least.
Oh yeah, she name drops one planet that I recognized, Mintaka 3. That one's also from Star Trek: The Next Generation. I think it was just a coincidental name. That's a planet with a proto-Vulcanoid species that our heroes on the Enterprise D once visit under the guise of being locals there.
Okay.
Probably unrelated, but I thought it was fun.
So Crichton, in the meanwhile, goes back to the prisoner to basically he brings her a strip of food cube, I suppose, although it's more of a flat view food rectangle in this case.
Yeah,
it looks a bit like a dried fruit roll-up or something, which he lets her take a few bites off, and then she goes like, "Oh, I can't eat like this," and she really turns on the slyness.
Yeah,
she's like, "Oh, and you like, oh, the poor little helpless girl with."
She does what I thought was so cool is how many different tactics she tries in a row. Like first of all, she's very seductive as she takes a bite out of this food.
Yeah,
like a
delicate little nibble, and like, "Oh, you can feed me," and then she goes like, "Oh no, I can't eat like this. I'm so vulnerable, and you need
she
to
becomes
untie
much more
me."
Emotional. I mean, previously when Salas was there, she asked him for help. Like, okay. Chiana is introduced. The first words out of her mouth are "please" and "help me."
Please help me.
Like those, you know that those are lies. You know that that's not sincere.
Well,
that's manipulative.
Especially after this scene, because like she literally has a little bit of a fit where she goes like falling over and on the floor and.
Enticing him, which he falls for.
Yeah, to open the cell, and he goes in and he holds her and comforts her, and then you can
mission accomplished.
And you can see that little sly look at the end where she's like, "Oh, he's starting to fall for it."
That's the one. She's such an intelligent character because at this point, like she's tried asking him for amnesty, and he said, "Well, we're not a political ship."
Yep.
Then use your moral authority. Which
not sure we have one.
Yeah, you're asking the wrong people. I mean, we're not killers, but we're not killers. As I think the tagline is. And finally, she's found what unlocks Crichton, and he's not enticed by the prospect of exploiting someone else's weakness.
Yeah.
He's wounded when they're hurt. That's what gets Crichton going. He feels other people's pain and wants to solve it.
Which he kind of does, because he immediately goes to talk to Durka, who is effecting repairs on their ship. They're not having much of a conversation because it's quite shortly afterwards interrupted.
Oh, there's a question. Oh, pardon me. Speaking of interruption, there's a question. How is mental cleansing different from brainwashing?
Oh, yes.
I mean, no, it's very different. No, those are synonyms.
Right. Yes, it takes about. In his case, it took about 100 cycles apparently, in which he was his scalp was gently massaged into thinking along more of the lines of what was the species called again?
The Nebari.
Nebari. That's it.
Yeah, that's apparently something that, according to Salas, they do with great care and compassion, to Zan's horror.
Yes, to make everybody nice and conformist, and which is, he literally says at one point, like, "Oh, when I was your age, I was like looking into new ways to conform to the norm," or something like that. It's
I was worried about fitting in.
Where it turns out that she is actually a bit of a little rebel, trying to do things the way she wants. Her crimes are like traveling without a travel chit, stealing food when she's hungry, and a few other little things. Doing what she wants to, I believe.
According to her, those are her words, which taken with a grain of unlocks.
But the fact that they but the fact that they never mention any other crime seems to suggest to me, at least, that they
Salas never denies it.
They're used to the fact that other people don't really consider things that they consider to be crimes. So he's like, "Oh no, I'm not going to tell you about them because, then we get into this argument again about that's not a crime."
Yes,
and he's like,
"You already damaged our ship. You delayed our appointments, and now you're also going to be the moral arbiter of our justice system."
Right?
Cool.
Yes. But yes, the conversation between Durka and Crichton is rudely interrupted when a sphere rolls in and explodes. Crichton actually rescues Durka.
He spots it just in time and shoves Durka aside. This shiny sphere. Well, it's two hemispheres, really, with some lights in the middle.
Yeah.
It looked to me like a thermal detonator.
A little bit, yes.
From Star Wars Return of the Jedi.
It's not, but it's like, I can see where the similarity comes from, yeah. Because he's got a thermal detonator.
Very good.
Yes, explodes, much to Moya and Pilot's distress. Zan goes running up into control to find out what's happening, and through the fog of the explosion, we see Rygel floating in on his throne sled, who, to his credit, actually seems dismayed at the fact that Crichton is also lying on the floor.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, you can definitely tell that he is like...
He has a little regret over that. He didn't fully plan it out.
Yeah, I didn't mean to get Crichton. Durka, however, is the first one who recovers, immediately seizes Rygel by the throat and starts...
with rage in his eye, under his eye pad, and then falls to sleep again. Next up wakes Crichton and does the same thing. Also grabs Rygel by the throat. Yep. That just seems to be what you do. You wake up and you see Rygel...
There's a lot of throat grabbing going on for Rygel in this episode.
It's probably the safest thing to do.
He grabbed me. Tried to strangle me.
He's been brain neutered, you moron.
Yeah. Basically another bit of what are you doing, and what did you do this, and
yeah, there was an interesting move here because on the one hand, when Crichton says that Rygel threw a bomb, Dargo says no, he didn't.
Yeah,
bastard just tried to frag us.
Did not.
Almost as if he's defending Rygel, but shortly thereafter escorts Rygel off and assures the guests that we'll see to it that he stays in his quarters.
Right.
We'll lock Rygel up first.
That's him doing his diplomacy I guess, like trying to downplay this, on the one hand, downplay this attack, and on the other hand, also proactively dealing with the perpetrator. Once again, like giving the Nebari no reason to suspect that they're in on it together.
Which is, and that's actually the scene which I was referring to, where you can see Dargo walking through the corridor carrying Rygel off to his quarters.
Oh, yeah.
When you can see like Rygel talking, and I was wondering if they just like put Dargo's arm up in the puppet and just flap his mouth a bit while you're walking down the corridor, and we'll like fix it in post or something.
It might well have been. At least he's not giving him a piggyback ride this time.
No. He's very indignantly being carried under his arm.
Suspicion abounds, and Salis goes to check on Chiana, who shows that she's still in cuffs, so she can't have been involved in the
wasn't
in the
me.
attack.
Like, why? What do you think I would do? And it's like, yes, my first thought did go out to the fact that it might have been you. She gets frisked a little bit to make sure that she is indeed not carrying anything that might endanger the ship, or a bit more or less like him, I suppose.
She tempts him into having another feel, which he does not appreciate. He uses these. Oh yeah, we haven't even talked about that.
Oh yeah, the little pain controllers that he has on his forehead.
Yeah. He's got like two sort of coins drilled into the side of his temple, and when he touches both with his fingers, the pain collar around her neck is activated. A weird interface.
Yeah, it seems peculiar. I mean, why on your forehead? Maybe?
Exactly.
Yeah, maybe it's got something to do with their mental reprogramming system.
Oh,
it's like,
interesting.
Seems like the kind of thing that you would use for that.
There's some. I was going to say CGI. There's plenty of that. There's some CSI as Dargo shows Crichton that Rygel was experimenting with these components that he found. There's something fire paste and these crystals, but he got the ratio wrong.
And if you gotten it right?
Well, you wouldn't be having this conversation now.
Yeah, and I noticed that Dargo...
foreshadowing.
Yes. There's a bit of a Chekhov's thermal detonator. But yeah, I noticed that Dargo was really friendly and dry-humoured here in this...
Yeah, he's very centered. He's got a bit of a wry wit to the whole thing.
Yeah, especially towards Crichton. He's almost camaraderie towards him. He's definitely warmed up to him during the last few episodes.
And it's Zan's turn now to be completely put out. Like she is horrified by what she's learned about Nebari culture and how freely they perform these horrors on other species as well. Just anyone that crosses their path.
They deem apparently their ships are powerful enough that they can like pull this off and like inflict it on other people.
In fact, there are some aspects of your personality that could do with adjustment.
And then she's got that look who's talking expression on her face. And it's like she's clearly like, oh, I would like to adjust a few things about your personality as well.
And that smug bastard gets the last words.
My point exactly.
Yes. Rygel in his quarters is bound and gets, assaulted or maybe... jumped by Chiana?
Chiana, who has freed herself through, I'm not sure exactly how. I mean, we see her use a mirror to get rid of the collar.
I didn't quite see how that worked, but yeah.
I'm assuming that maybe she lifted something off of Crichton when he came in to help her. That was the smug little grin. Maybe that terrible fork.
She's found herself a nice little fur collar. And a weird spider webby outfit, which does look very fetching on her.
Yeah, she was wearing that under her overcoat already. Okay. Like I saw some of that.
So it must just mean that she shed that coat, which you actually see lying on the cell floor.
Yeah, Durka's got one of those overcoats as well, which he sheds. Maybe they like coats.
Yeah.
But she's busted into Rygel's room to make a deal, climbing on him, muffling him with a shiny, shiny pillow.
You scream, I push this cushion down in your colon.
Asking him to make her an offer.
Yeah.
He offers to tell her how to get to the
shuttle bay, basically, and give her the codes. And she goes like, oh, I can get there on my own.
Yeah,
it's not
like, good enough.
Give me something real.
And I really appreciated this because they're both, like, they both understand, okay, this is a real negotiation.
Let's deal. All right, we both want something, don't we?
we're not bullshitting each other. We're just trying to weasel each other, and how are we going to impress each other while they're establishing I'm not someone to be frelled with.
I apologize for calling you a toad.
I make allowances for stress on this ship.
Oh, no. And this isn't stress, old man. Stress is if you don't come through for me.
And also, I'm more valuable to you as an ally than as an opponent.
Yeah, because that's his offer to make a distraction for her to escape. Right. She accepts. And
much to Rygel's credit, he's almost unexpectedly loyal to the crew, because the first thing he does is he reaches for his communicator and warns everybody else that she has escaped.
The Nebari woman's escaped! She's in my quarters!
At danger to his own life.
Yeah? Well, getting smothered by a pillow, apparently. Maybe he's not so threatening for a...
Oh, yeah. He's an aquatic creature. He could probably hold his breath for a really long time.
That's a good point there.
He's been strangled all this time, and every time he just pretends to be terrified.
Yeah. Sitting there going like, yeah.
I demand someone hurt me!
It's like if some alien was trying to strangle you by holding your ears closed, you would go, oh no, please let me go, please let me go.
And he's just sitting there going, like, I can keep this up for 15 minutes. It's like, no problem there whatsoever. So, a thing that surprised me at this point was a little bit that Crichton is still unarmed. He has not picked himself up a gun or any sort of weapon.
Oh, wow. You're right.
Twisted as it sounds, what we have right here is exactly what we need. Guns and a lot of hands pointed in every direction.
He still hasn't got himself a gun.
Things are going off the rails, and it's clearly that Aaron has a few spares, because we see a lot of that going on later in the episode. But it's like, no, he's
so does Dargo. They've come across quite a few.
Yeah, but no, Crichton is still not armed, especially not... I mean, I can understand that he doesn't go around the Moya in general armed.
Yeah, but it's not like Steve Zissou in The Life Aquatic, where everyone on the crew has to have a gun.
But you'd think that he had, for the situation, he'd have picked one up.
You're right. Well, I mean, how many times have they been under threat on the ship?
Well,
no,
but...
Not a lot, right?
Well, there's been a few incidents. But,
yeah, there was the Ilanix.
Yeah, the Peacekeeper invasion.
Oh, yeah, there was that.
Our record with guests isn't too sweet.
This was another entirely on Moya episode.
Yes, yeah. I've got to say, I do like those. I never get tired of Moya's interior.
Yeah, it is beautiful.
So many curves.
And like I said, they made an exceptional effort this time to show lots of those long corridor shots, steady cam shots, moving in, following people, zooming in, out.
Oh, it looks so good. So the way these, I don't know if we've talked about it before, but there's like 17 pieces of hallway, and they're all on wheels, so they can be rolled around. So that's why every time that you see one of these corridors, it just looks different. Some of them have curves; they curve the other way. They have T-junctions. It's a spectacular use of an environment.
Yeah, it seems to be mostly T. There's not a lot of cross places where two corridors cross each other. Is there?
No, I kind of like that.
Not a lot of regular junctions.
I mean, in general, there's no straight angles on Moya.
No, this is very true.
It's not a rectangular.
Maybe her corridors are laid out like a biohazard symbol.
Yeah. That sort of resembles. There's a weird sort of 8 in a circle like symbol on Salas's chest, and I think Durka has that as well. They touch that whenever they communicate with each other.
Okay,
it's just one of those things in like embossed black leather.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's during a lot of these shots through Moya as they're searching for Chiana that we see one of those close-ups on Salas, who turns around. And then a few more of these shots later, turns up dead, lying in a pool of his black-blue blood.
Murdered by someone?
Chiana, yeah, we are.
Durka?
Where were you when Salas was murdered?
At this point, is it... no, he's still wearing his eye patch, so this is not yet where he has revealed his...
No, but he has definitely already shed this mental cleansing at this point. We've seen plenty of clues that whatever the Nebari did was not so permanent that it could survive. Knock on the old noggin.
How could Durka have broken the mental cleansing? It's irreversible.
It's not my department.
a mental realignment.
Which I guess, so Rygel brought it onto himself by setting off the bomb, I guess.
Hoisted by his own petard.
Literally, in this case.
Oh, yes! A petard, yes! A petard is like a hand grenade.
Yes!
Wonder if I've got any grenades left.
Durka is doing a very good job manipulating everyone. He asks whether the command is secure, and Aaron goes off to secure it in case Chiana is there taking over the ship.
Yeah, Chiana is doing a wonderful job of not being there at this point, so she just kind of disappears for about 10 minutes.
She's as good at hiding as John is, and she doesn't even need Dargo to be in Lux and Hyper Rage.
Dargo's been off the ship for 3 whole days, but we couldn't find you to tell you. You hide very well. You must have had a lot of practice.
Shut up.
Moya must be very well suited for humanoids to hide in. I mean, considering the amount of tunnels we've seen, yes, she is.
Yeah, even though she doesn't necessarily know her way around a Leviathan, unlike Durka, who, now that he's...
suspiciously knows his way well around a Leviathan, up to the point that he can, as we later learn, control her better than Pilot can.
I'm in complete control of this ship.
Which seems a bit weird. And I'm just going to rip open this console and controller. I'm going to cut some cables, and now I have full control over Moya, which Pilot cannot override. Which seems a bit like,
well,
what?
yeah, that's what he does as soon as he's on the command with Aaron and Rygel, and he hears that Salas is dead. Then he sees his moment. He knocks out Aaron,
grabs
steals her weapons,
immediately goes for a haircut.
Yeah. He opens up the control panels and starts cutting through synapses,
which seems so weird. It's like, why do you have pilots running the whole ship and doing everything, and yet whatever he does can be locked out from by cutting a few connections in control?
Leviathans, or at least these Leviathans, are peacekeeper slaves.
Yeah, which was what the control collar was for.
Plus whatever other control systems are on there. Like the ship was riddled with peacekeeper technology. These control tables may have been peacekeeper modifications.
Okay.
It stands to reason that the peacekeepers in Durka's time, 200 cycles ago, would also have been using Leviathan slaves. So
I guess,
since he was in charge of a command carrier, he probably had a battle group that would have involved some.
But yes, he still has very intimate knowledge and detailed knowledge of how to affect all this.
I imagine that Krace would be able to as well.
Maybe, including closing unseen bulkhead doors.
Yeah, he seals off the command. Seals off several other areas. He prevents the comms from working, so it cuts off everybody from communicating with each other. And he shoots Pilot's hologram in the without looking, like it's a very
kind of like over the shoulder shot. Yes.
Yeah.
Dargo bravely takes stand behind the desk and doesn't get out from behind it for at least 10 minutes. He just sits there with his gun sword leaning over it, and literally 10 minutes when we see him later again, he's back behind that same bloody console. He hasn't moved from behind it. I don't know what he is keeping cover with his gun, but he is
Don't listen to him, listeners. That's not what happens. Dargo is very brave, and he is. This is all false testimony because Dargo has a plan.
Yes.
And that plan is to use the atmospheric access hatches to crawl into the command. But Durka has
foreseen this. And I was like, I was wondering when one of you was going to try that. Immediately seals them off.
We will trap you there.
Yep. There appears to be an obstruction in the access shaft. I was wondering how long it would take someone to try that.
And okay, now Dargo spends the next 10 minutes in the same spot.
No, I swear that he was behind that desk at one point, and then everybody starts running around the ship trying to find something, and literally the next time when you see Dargo again, he is still behind that same desk.
We have a proper menacing scene where the villain is strutting around his prisoners.
Yes.
Both Rygel and Aaron, terrorizing them
especially Rygel.
Yeah, but Rygel refuses to be terrorized.
Oh, yes. Rygel just stands up to him and calls him all kinds of
Spits right back. I was very impressed.
Oh, yes. He has definitely gone from the terrified prisoner that he was, even when they were back on the ship. And he defies him directly. He goes you may have tortured me, but you never broke me. Although you could have guessed differently if you saw him respond to just the notion of being on that ship before.
There is a difference between absolutely wetting yourself and, I don't know, kowtowing. We never saw him give in. We always saw him terrified, but we never saw him comply. He never cowed. He only cowered if there's a distinction to be made there. Which actually turns Durka toward Aaron. Like he's almost got more hatred and revulsion, or perhaps delight in sadistically abusing Aaron.
Why
than
aren't
Rygel.
you a peacekeeper anymore?
Yeah, there's a lot going on here because obviously he's. I say obviously, I don't know for sure. He does not seem to be enthusiastic about peacekeeper ideology, and suggesting that he perhaps never was. Certainly as part of his mental cleansing, he rejected peacekeeper culture, ideology.
And of course it might have changed in 200 cycles.
Good point, also that. But it also may have been, even while he was in command, he was not a consummate peacekeeper.
He probably had his own little agenda, yes.
Look at you, salivating at the chance to maim and kill someone who can't even defend herself, foaming at the mouth like a sick Tralcus. Pathetic.
Why, Rygel, what's this?
Something I should have said to you a long time ago.
That seems to be a common theme for high-ranking peacekeepers.
Well, not just that. Even over here, it's like the amount of people with psychopathic behavior is like double, triple what you would expect in the general populace if you look at people higher up management in companies.
They are attracted to positions of power, and they're often selected for exactly the behaviors that make them so absolutely terrible to work with.
And of course, he goes like the thing he likes best about Leviathans is their starburst ability, and he slams the button and
Starburst? I thought we couldn't starburst!
Moya starts to initiate starburst, but then it goes.
This time referencing Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back. We're going through all of them now.
Starburst fails. Durka goes into a fit of rage. He's like, "How did you stop it?" And then they realize, like, "Oh, he doesn't know she's pregnant."
Yeah, they managed to keep it secret for a little while meanwhile John is still searching the hallways for Chiana. Like, he needs an ally at this point. I don't know why he doesn't go and find Zan, but hey, whoever you can find.
Yeah.
So he goes to what looks like this refrigeration chamber. Like, it's all blue.
Yeah, I had no idea what was going on there.
Cool mist. There's also like a circular light being projected onto the ground.
Very pretty, like the impression of an overhead fan or something, but...
unclear. But he winds up finding Chiana there, and they have another little heart-to-heart. Still under dangerous conditions. She's got what looks like an oar. Do you know what I mean? Like a gondola pole.
Well, it's Moya's emergency paddle. It's Frank, when there's a problem with starburst, then you can like stick the oars out and like...
Oh, yeah. Maybe they got that from Stanza's ship, the AliExpress TARDIS, where you've got to whack it. It works pretty good when you whack it, right?
Maybe they had it from the planet of the purple panther, and they got last episode, like one of the canoe paddles that they brought along.
Waste not, want not.
No.
He manages to overpower her when... It's kind of a weird situation. She asks him to turn around, and he turns around, and then she's about to whack him.
And he's totally onto her.
Pins her down. There's a bit of a Simba Nala moment.
A little bit, yeah.
Which I guess is appropriate because like Simba and Nala are also brother and sister.
They have a little bit of a negotiation moment, and then like he offers her basically exactly what she wanted.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a bit of a weird negotiation. It's like she asks for something, he goes like, and then like, what can you offer me? And then he offers her back that, and basically he offers her a plan, which he says like, you don't like it, and like, oh, I know it, and she's being all coy and like vulnerable little girl again, and he's finally catching on to that.
Yeah, he's not letting her have any of it.
Yeah,
and it's this start of a really weird communication. Like he's trying to communicate to her that I value you for basically being a person, not for any of the stuff that you're doing, and no more than that.
But that's the whole thing. It's just like, how do you know I won't like the plan? It's because I don't like it, and she goes, what's the plan? And then he goes like, you're the bait.
And she gives her a little nose boop.
Yes, like bait.
So off goes Chiana to intercept Durka, who's trying to figure out what's going on.
Plays her part really well. He's figured out that Moya is pregnant so far, which is unfortunate because that's basically the information that she tries to offer him. He goes like, "Oh, she's pregnant," and goes like, "Oh, tell me something I don't know."
Rygel already taunted him with that.
Already spilled the beans and like, "Yeah, you can't start this because she's like diverting resources." He's clearly on her way to perform a midterm abortion.
What do you mean clearly? You already caught onto it at this point?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, what else would he be doing? Like, he's like, the moment he figures out that she's pregnant and that that's what's preventing him from doing a starburst, of course he's going to like look for the baby. And
you have a dangerously tactical mind, Kay. I've got to say, Chiana convinces him that he's being sent off in the wrong direction and leads him in a different one.
He is very suspicious of her. Like, he won't follow her into the room, which is like good for him because yes, Crichton is around the corner waiting with the emergency paddle
with the big give him a paddle in.
He doesn't buy it. Shoots her. Fortunately, not too severely wounded.
Yeah, she manages to dodge just in time. God, he looks so cool in his Nebari outfit. He shed his overcoat as well.
Yeah.
He's dual wielding a pulse pistol and the space stire.
Right, one of the spare guns that apparently was lying around. Oh, I mean, they might both be Aaron's guns.
Yeah, Aaron's got two.
Yeah, that's right.
He took her spare as well. So with their first plan failed, they now follow Durka to the hangar bay,
where he is planning to basically use the ship, which apparently, as we learned in the beginning, has a big gun, which he's just like going to shoot the midsection out, and that'll like take care of the baby problem, and then we can starburst again.
One shot into Moya's midsection will solve the starburst problem.
Yep, Crichton tries to taunt him with, "You're not going to get far without your navigational system, which was still being repaired." Says,
and he's like, "No, don't need it.
I just need to get a shot of the phase cannon into her belly, and then she can..." I mean, this is monstrous.
Totally.
And you can see Pilot, who's Zan's with him, is terribly worried and must be feeling helpless at this point.
His weapons are powering up.
That ship, by the way, the Nebari craft, looks so cool.
I didn't really get a good enough look at it, I thought. I mean, it's got like, a central core with big three prongs around it, which two of them apparently are guns.
Yeah, it reminded me a little bit of the design of the bullet pod that we saw in the first two episodes before we saw the general design of of Moya's transport pods. So it's got like skids. I mean, they're not quite skids, but it's the same kind of silhouette.
Right.
But it's got this sort of spherical, like, energy gimbal at the back that you see through the...
Right, it's kind of like a Firefly with the whole big glowy bug thing at the back.
Yes, that's a very good simile. And there's this really cool move as he gets inside. There's CGI pan around the ship, and the front opens like an iris, and I thought it was so cool.
Crichton taunts Durka into a bit of monologuing while he goes and runs off to grab the barrel explosives. And
Rygel's chemistry set, which he inherited maybe from Zan and upgraded a little bit.
But he basically opens up, and thanks to Dargo's information, who told him that
crystals.
That Rygel got the properties wrong, the proportions. That's what I was looking for.
Between the fire paste and the crystals,
he
makes himself his own thermal detonator.
Assembles another one of those fine little roly spheres.
Check it out. It's a water balloon.
Which gets rolled under the ship, explodes. Apparently, I mean, it throws him off guard for a little bit, but it doesn't seem to like do too much. At least, well, it throws him around the ship a little bit, but the ship itself seems still more or less intact. But Moya starts getting involved, who just basically starts opening airlocks.
We've got Zan and Pilot, and I've talked before about how I don't like a manufactured drama when something needs to be done and it fails, and then no, you've actually got to open the doors again. No, close them now.
Close the doors, open the doors, close the doors. Yes.
But I've got to say, it gets me every time. It was very exciting. Yes. And this sort of Indiana Jones scenario.
Very much so. And thanks to the emergency paddle, he doesn't quite get sucked out of the doors. The paddle gets stuck. Not so much for an unfortunate little DDR or scuttlebutt, as we like to call them here on the...
They're not DDRs, they're DRDs.
Whatever.
And Crichton has to pull himself to freedom before the doors shut behind him.
Yes, the big airlock door slowly closing, and he's like squeezing himself through. The wind is rushing past him.
I'm in!
Oh, it's thrilling.
But he manages to pull his feet in just in time so that they don't get crushed in the door, basically, while the ship with Durka on it gets sucked out of the cargo bay.
Yeah, because apparently that bomb also served as a bit of a Heimlich maneuver to a constipated Moya, who is now able to eject her obstruction. Durka's craft damaged but not yet destroyed, but missing its navigational suite. Is dumped out into space, unable to go anywhere. Some last taunts from Crichton.
Yes, like, haha, just be ready to get picked up again if they pick you up.
I'll hunt you down and I'll kill you.
Get in line, Durka. Besides, I don't think the Nebari are going to let you do a lot of hunting.
Crichton! Listen to me!
Either way, I don't care.
Yeah, have another 100 years of mental readjustment.
Ooh. All's well that ends well.
Yes.
We have a few final... we have another come down. It's quite a brisk one this time. The two scenes that we have for the denouement are between Aaron and Rygel.
Yeah.
Now, I thought that was an interesting pairing because Aaron and Rygel, they both had something in common. They both had a prior preconception and relationship with Durka.
Yeah. A little bit of hero worship from Aaron, and of course the former torturer for Rygel.
He is quite proud that he beat Durka at his own game.
Yeah.
And Aaron is smug. You just compared yourself to a peacekeeper.
Yes. And it
doesn't seem to bother him. He's
not
got
so much. No, you can see him pause for a moment, and then he doesn't do his smugness, but he seems to be proud, almost even a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I got as well.
Like proud that he hardened himself enough.
Crichton walks in on Chiana, whose wound is being treated by Zan.
Much to Zan's
Hold still.
How's the patient doing? She's a brat.
Yep.
Zan doesn't do well with brats.
No, I guess
remember
not.
that with the zipper head from what was it? It was the second or third Thrown for a Loss. With the gauntlet.
Oh, I'm still drawing a blank.
Okay, so they were Tavlex. Tavloids, no Tavlex, and they kidnap Rygel, and one of the soldiers is
the
on
space
board.
orcs.
That's right. Yes, the cosplaying space orcs. That's right. With and she got the junkie kid.
Yes,
that she's tending to, who's also a brat, and she
was much more maternal towards him than she is towards Chiana.
Yeah, she got that out of her system.
Soft, yes. Weak, no.
Yeah, and Chiana and Crichton have a bit of a little debate, and this is actually where I won't say first got cued in, but very definitely got cued in, where she goes am I part of the crew or?
So, do I get to stay?
And then she asks about being kicked off the ship, and he says we're not a prison ship, you can get off anytime you want, which is again one of those another weird. Cause she literally says you can just drop me off at the first planet where I can steal something, and she's no, you can get off anywhere. That's what she literally just asked.
Yeah,
if she could get off.
But he's wise to her act. She does not ask for things she wants. She taunts. She manipulates people.
Right. Okay.
She challenges people. I think is fairer to say.
Yeah, that makes sense.
To get what she wants in spite of what she's saying, and Crichton refuses to meet her at that level.
Yeah, he doesn't play that game.
Yeah, we're not a prison ship. You can get off whenever you want. You can choose.
Yeah, we don't kick you off. Yeah, we don't. Well, that's
you don't have to.
Well, you say you don't choose, but that's assuming that she has the choice to stay. I mean, I can surely imagine that everybody else is going to go okay, who is she? Why should we take her with us?
Oh, we should kick her off the boat?
Ask me tomorrow.
Okay, do they have that option? They don't do that for each other. They don't vote each other off the ship.
No, they have, but they've been around for since the beginning.
Right. Just. I mean, that's just kind of coincidence.
Are they kind of obliged to pick up anyone else who just happens to end up on the ship?
I mean, they did let her on board.
Right, but that was because she was being brought on board as a prisoner, and they kind of were obligated to the people whose ship they just crashed into.
Pilot certainly felt so.
Yeah.
Pilot is the only one that's definitely not getting kicked off the ship.
Right, no, because they can't. He's fused with her. He's fused with her. But, so I guess she's like the new addition to the crew then.
But that's going to be one of the challenges they're now going to have to deal with. What does it look like? Like they're not a fearsome foursome with a pilot and Moya. They're just this ragtag group. They're not even a crew. Like any of them would abandon the others for the right reason.
Well, yes.
They'd even harm each other for the right reason.
Chop the arm off, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But now also, like, are we going to deny somebody else the same opportunity that we seized? Like,
right, maybe. Well,
there's plenty of room on Moya.
True.
She can take care of herself.
But does she get an equal vote in where everybody goes, or how does it? Like,
we're going to have to figure that out.
There's going to be a lot of seeing what kind of status she acquires on board. Whether or not
very
she's
excited to see where it goes. All right, so quick review of the episode. Do we have any notes that we missed? I noticed that there was a lot of black and grey throughout. Also,
right, but also because like there's so many blue-skinned people. This was the episode of the blue-skinned people rather than the purple pants people.
See, that's interesting. You got them as blue, like
blue-grey.
I thought they were all like explicitly grey, but sometimes lit blue. Of course, you need a little blue to compensate for. But even Crichton and Aaron, they were both dressed in grey and black. Obviously, not Zan or Dargo.
No.
There was a lot of boasting about plans. Dargo says, "Have I got a plan?"
What's your plan?
You got a plan?
Have I got a plan?
I got a plan. You okay?
Oh, stupid plan.
Right, and then you don't like. He doesn't even get let out of the air tube towards the end of the episode. We really don't see him anymore after he gets locked up in the access corridor or whatever it is.
Yep. There's a lot of John Woo sort of cinematography and iconography. The sort of gun ballet. A little bit of that toward the end.
Yeah, there's a surprisingly amount of shooting going on in this episode.
Yep.
I think my Woody for the episode would definitely.
Oh, are we there already?
Oh, aren't we?
Oh yeah, no. Bring on your Woody.
Yeah.
She gives me a Woody.
She gives you the willies.
It would have been for Crichton's comments about Durka when he. It's very obvious that he's broken through his programming. He's like he says, mental cleansing doesn't take the tough stains out.
The tough stains. Yeah. I thought that was
cool. Such a great comment.
Yeah.
Willies, I don't think I had so many. I mean, it's easy to say the hints of Durka showing his Durkaness, basically.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's par for the course. That wasn't particularly Willy-worthy, I'd say.
Well, I've got to say, my Woody also goes to Durka and his lines. This is one that he shares with John, where he threatens to John, "I will hunt you down," and John says,
"Get in line." Yes, you're not the first. You're not even the first Sebastian.
No, there's going to be quite a line. Oh no, it's kind of tied with Chiana's introduction. Like she's got this fantastic body language, this very wide stance. She's always sort of braced.
Yeah, hunched like ass back, shoulders forward, kind of like she's ready to pounce. A little bit of Catwoman stance, if I want to compare it to anything.
Oh no, I like that a lot. And Willy wise, I'm also coming up blank. Like this was a fantastic episode of Farscape.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that Dargo and Zan didn't get to do that much. I like that Dargo was nice and stable.
Yeah,
those are qualities I like to see on him. Zan just didn't get to do very much. No, which is a shame. I always like her perspective.
It occasionally happens for Zan when there's like no mothering or soul searching to do. Then it's like Zan is kind of like okay, don't really need her as much in that at that point.
Oh, yes. So we've talked about new segments.
Yeah.
The one that I introduced last week was Life on Moya.
Right.
So is there anything that we're curious about and that we can sort of imagine?
Yes.
Oh, yeah?
Well, I mean, yeah.
Don't say toilet.
No, I know.
Okay, that's the one rule.
Toilets are off guard. Now, I would say, what do they do for recreation? Like, I haven't seen a rec room on Moya. There's that one game that Rygel played a few episodes ago. But other than that, I have not seen, like, what do they do? There's no movie room. There's no library.
I'm bored. Will
you stop doing that?
That's like, a good... I mean, there is the there is the sort of yoga workout room.
Oh, the viewing deck.
No. The workout place where in Back to the Future, Back to the Future, Aaron takes Matala and they do sort of freestyle jazz ballet at each other.
I thought that was kind of more like just a cargo bay which they've thrown a peacekeeper rug on the floor.
It's got a mirror. It looks.
I suppose.
So, like, maybe that's basically a jungle gym that they've got.
Yeah.
Other than that, like, anytime they're chilling out, they're at the they're in the galley.
Yeah, or in command.
Yeah,
it's not even chilling out. Yeah. So there's like nothing. I've not seen
fun
anything.
Places. No,
exactly.
Like, what do you think you do? Like,
I mean, I'd say like a library or something. Like, somewhere you can kick back, watch a movie, like watch a hologram. Like, that's not just Pilot's
do they
Head.
even have fiction?
You'd think so. I mean, why not? I mean, like an entire universe with so many different species, and none of them has invented entertainment.
I guess when the universe is so vast, what could be possibly more interesting than just stepping outside your ship and seeing what kind of...
Clearly you don't get enough of that because they spend a lot of time on the ship, and even though that's only for the people with wanderlust, I mean, lots of people probably want to stay home and do their thing. Or
you're right. I mean, I think the closest that we've ever come is Dargo playing his Shieldquin in Pilot's Den, which has great acoustics, by the way.
And of course that game that Rygel was playing with the
really annoying with the little paddle and the electric
that's the one.
The sphere.
Rygel?
So that's basically the only things we've seen. There's no holodeck. There's nothing of the sorts.
No. Oh, interesting. Well, hopefully
they clearly have
holographic.
Well, not holographic technology, not on the holodeck level, but they can do like holographic projections. We've seen those plenty of times.
And in the clamshells.
You'd think you'd use those for entertainment.
Missed opportunity.
Yeah.
See, my curiosity was for the sort of refrigeration chamber. I don't know what that does, but also, why didn't they put air in there when Moya was overheating? That would have probably stayed the coolest.
How do we know it's refrigeration chamber? Just because there's like mist floating around?
It's floating. No, it's floating down.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
What do you mean?
There was the other shot where. No, that was in the refrigeration. I was going to say where Chiana and it's probably just to make it like look nebulous and like almost romantic, and it's like they're on top of it. Yeah, they're doing the whole on top of each other thing, and so it's like
Yeah, I know there was a slip of the tongue, and you called it a Chiana.
Yeah.
She's got a bit of Chiana from Dune about her.
Yes,
Chiana.
Chiana. Sorry, yes, I'll probably catch on to that. Yeah.
Similarly, like exotic, mysterious, alluring, dangerous,
and clearly a rogue, self-professed even so.
Oh yeah,
no.
So I had another segment in mind.
Yeah.
The naming of the episode.
The naming of the episode.
Because, last time you came in at the end with Shaklum Balaya. You were so good at this. I wonder if you happen to have a suggestion.
I don't know. Dutch Angles the episode?
Okay, so you're going to do Dutch Angles the episode.
I don't know.
Now, I don't exactly know how we're going to vote on this, considering that there's only two of us.
Right.
So
mental surgery?
I was going to go for something with tough stains.
Tough stains, yeah. Oh, that's a very good one, yes.
Yeah. I mean, Salis, the
stains
the
run
blood.
deep.
Tough stains run... Ooh.
Durka skid marks?
Okay, one again.
Oh no, seriously, no.
No, I'm sorry. I think you won. That if you actually break me so that I have to lean away from the microphone to get a good cackle out. Durka skid marks. Everybody.
There goes the R rating.
Let's all thank Kay for that fantastic episode. No, I really enjoyed that.
All right.
And that's the story so Farscape.
Yeah, we'll see you next week with episode number 116, A Human Reaction, where returning to Earth through a wormhole, Crichton receives an unfriendly welcome but is reunited with his father. Erin, Dargo and Rygel arrive to rescue Crichton but receive less than humane treatment. Oh, wow, so it's over then. It's last episode, next time round.
We've got to do something about these synopses. I've got to get different ones for you because this is just so spoilerific. Okay, well, we'll see how well we do in the 16th and final episode of Farscape, apparently. Wink, wink, wink. You can find us at SoFarscape on Twitter and Facebook. We'd love to hear from you. We're on sofarscape.com and you can find us wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Kaki.
I'm Kay.
So Farscape, so good.